Hello, listeners. Welcome finally back to another episode of My Girlfriend Doesn't Like Robots, a podcast where we look at robots from the perspective of a novice and an outsider. It's been a little while since the last episode. I think you've changed schools in that time and you've gone into another new teaching position. It's been a while.
Um, yeah.
Well,
I think it's been about a year.
Yeah, it was it's a year and 8 months because it was February last year was the last one. Because it was while you were still at the other school and it was a much more stressful.
Yeah. It's just I don't think you really need to explain it.
Yeah, but we'll get right into it then.
Yeah, sure.
So we start with the first robot, which is Switchback. Immediate sort of first thoughts.
Wally's Chad brother.
Yeah. Well, Wally got ripped. Is this like Alpha Wally?
No, it just looks kind of dumb.
What's dumb about it?
It looks like those little bird weighted things that can
drink in the water and then pull back. Yeah, I can see that. So it's the weapon is what they call an articulating drum.
What does that mean?
So the big row of things up top, they're all blades. They can have up to 12 of them. They all spin together as one, and then they can move the whole arm thing moves on the chain, so they can put it in like whichever position they want.
Okay.
So if there's like a really tall robot, they can have it up higher. If there's a lower one, they can bring it back down further.
Okay.
Which is slightly different because a lot of people try to call it a hammer drum because there's robots that use the same principle with a single disc that they all spin up and then slam into you to cause big damage. That's called a hammer saw. But it doesn't work at the same sort of speed, so it's more just get your position right and they can angle it when they need it to. So no matter what size or shape your robot is, they can hit you.
Okay.
Which I think it's quite unique because it's I say it's like a hammer saw, but it's a lot more sort of specific and particular with.
Sure, you could do that with any sort of drum then anyway. You just need to make it adjustable on the sides, because if they're not adjusting it mid
they
fight,
can move it mid fight. That's what they mean.
Yeah. But what is the point in that? You're still fighting the same robot. If you're saying it's not to slam down, it's only to adjust for height, then there's no point.
It also helps with their self-righting, which I get. Most of the sort of drum bots are usually either invertible or can use gyro to get themselves back over.
Okay.
But it does something. It's a unique sort of weapon, which is what.
I say that about anything, you know. It does something.
I mean, okay,
I'm sure it does.
Base principles: every weapon does something. I understand. Yeah, so they obviously came in season 6. They've also been confirmed they applied for season 7 as well. They're a team from Texas. They've got a lot of experience in like first robotics and Vex and stuff, and this is their first like big sort of combat robot. I think it looks really cool. It's got.
I think it looks like a red cartoon giraffe. See, that's the snoot. That's the ear. That's the.
Yeah. It's like a big articulated, deadly giraffe.
It's not particularly deadly though, is it?
It did.
Oh no, I can outrun it by going at a leisurely pace.
I will admit it wasn't the quickest in fights. They had trouble with.
Well, it's not going to be. It's stocky.
They had trouble with their drive motors as well. I think in testing they ended up burning out one of them. This was in like as they were building it. So in season 6, Switchback got a couple of fights. They first fought up against a robot called Gruff.
Stupid name. Looks cool though.
What's stupid about a name like Gruff? It's Gruff. It's like stocky. It's like strong and tanky.
Not particularly tanky looking though, is it?
It doesn't look it, but it is. In season 4, it took Tombstone to went the whole 3 minutes against it, and it.
Yes, but that's not what makes you tanky, is it?
You mean something like this?
Lasting a long time is not what makes you a tank.
Well, enduring or endurable or whatever.
That's not what I said though. You said that part of the reason it's called Gruff is because it's tanky, and I'm saying it doesn't suit that name because it doesn't look particularly tanky. That's
okay, yeah, sorry.
It's like another way of saying birch. Like I don't mean
stock,
birch.
like stocky.
Stocky. Gruff is like that kind of name, or you give it to a dog. Yeah, so I'm just saying the name doesn't fit. Like if it had a name like Scorpion, I know Scorpion's already another robot.
Yeah.
But Scorpion would fit it better.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because it looks like Scorpion.
Yeah, it does sort of make sense. I think the big.
Did you forget that I make good points?
Whenever you make one, I'm flummoxed.
Oh yeah, she's right.
She does know what she's talking about.
When it comes to things like naming, yeah. Go on.
Yeah, so it's got, I say, aside from being very durable and really strong, it's also got the lifter, which are the big sort of pointy fork things up top, so they can flip things over and stuff. And it's also got incredibly hot flamethrowers. So the two things out there.
We weren't allowed flamethrowers.
You can't have them as a main weapon, so that couldn't be your only focus. But you can use them as a secondary weapon or something to do extra damage and stuff. So I think they're the hottest in the competition. They run at 3,000 Fahrenheit.
What's that in degrees?
About 2,000 Celsius.
2,000 Celsius, okay.
And that's they've got two of them now. In previously they had just the one, so they've got like dual barrel flamethrowers. It's so cool. It's really good. It's gone up against a few big spinners like Switchback and stuff, but it hasn't. Amazingly, it hasn't exploded, which is what I sort of half expected from it. The fight against Gruff wasn't too bad. It was a fairly decent fight. It did manage to get some good hits on it, but ended up stuck in the corner and got flipped over and couldn't self-right because one of their motors are going to end up just getting torched, just like right on the side of it. Which, for a flamethrower that hot, if you're going to be just blasting something for any amount of time, it's going to do decent damage.
Now this looks like a little giraffe person. That's the foot.
Yeah.
He's wearing a little backpack.
I thought you didn't like when people were like personified robots and stuff.
I don't.
But giraffes.
This one's dying and dead, so it's okay.
because it's losing, it's fine.
No, not losing. That's not the problem. It's dead. First it died, now it's dead.
And now it's dead. So the next fight that Switchback got was against a robot called Slammo.
That just looks like the previous black one you showed me.
It's a similar concept. It's a big lifter. It's what most of them are going to end up looking like. So, but this one does like a full sort of suplex, so you can grab one and then throw you all the way back over onto your back.
What was that one we saw at the expo?
The thing it bought them.
Double-headed flamingo.
Two-headed death flamingo.
That's what it reminds me of. I do like the paint job though.
The paint's really cool. The builder, Craig, I think he said it's based on like an old camouflage that the Navy used to use back in wartime, where it's like really disjointed lines and shapes, so you wouldn't be able to make out what a ship looked like.
That's what zebras do.
Yeah. It's a far cry from their season 5 version, which is just standard playing group. But
it looks like baby's first CAD cam, doesn't it?
Just like lines and basic shapes and stuff.
Oh, we had this conversation before, but you didn't do CAD cam in school.
No, we had I think we had a little bit of CAD, but not much cam. We might have had like a laser cutter or something.
My first CAD cam project was in year 8, and they made us make bookmarks out of acrylic.
Oh right.
And it had to be a single sheet. So you would draw your design, and then it would have like a copy and pasted template of like what the bookmark was going to look like. But it was like this thick acrylic, so you could never actually use it as for what it was.
You got the wrong thickness to try and like cut through anything.
I looked at the color choices and I thought, you know what, emoji yellow. So I just did a smiley face.
That seems on brand for you.
And I was just like,
when you were like,
this is dumb.
I'm gonna make the dumbest thing I get.
You have given me no choice of colours. It was like red. It was like that that kind of red, like
Yeah.
what do we call that? Pure red,
Like really like bright
letterbox
red.
red, and royal blue, or like electric blue,
Yeah.
or emoji yellow.
And that was
Those
it.
were the three
Those are the three
choice.
colours. Jesus.
So I was like, well, I'm not going to make something that I actually want to make, a design I actually like, because that it will look dumb in any three of those colours.
On bright red, anything's gonna look a bit daft.
So I thought, next best case scenario, emoji.
Did you just have just the one
This
emoji
was
on it?
in. How old was I in year 8? 12.
Like 12, 13.
So it would have made it 2009. It's in 2009.
Good grief.
Or wait, no, later. I was born in 97 plus 12. No, 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is before the Dark Ages started.
Before everything happened.
Yeah, before everything happened. This is whilst I was still happy with life.
Oh god. That was a long time ago then.
Yeah. What a year.
So the builder of Summers previously competed on Robot Wars. He previously had a robot called Foxic.
I love it, but I hate that it's a Battlebot, like not Battlebot, like a competitive robot. If this was like a put that casing on a Roomba,
Let's have a little.
I would love it. I would totally have, because it's just a little guy.
It's just a little man.
It's just a little man. Yeah, he's a bit angry, but he probably gets called short like 7 times a day.
His slightly different older brother, Foxtrot, competed on Battlebots.
See, I hate him.
Why him?
Why do you think?
Because it's more personified, I guess? Or
No.
the colour?
The colour is my favourite colour, yeah. But that colour is also used on what type of internet culture pictures?
Oh, I should know. You've explained this to me before, but I can't think what it is.
That is loved by furries.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
That is a fursona colour.
Oh, now you've said that.
It is, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that a shade?
That's annoying.
I love like teal, turquoise, but it is a well-loved colour within the furry community.
If you want to see my angsty OC, that was his entry into 2018 Battlebots. That's Predator.
I see what they were going for with the name, but they failed, didn't they? The whole point of Predator is that he's got another mouth inside his mouth.
Well, I
can see a mouth there. I can't see another mouth.
I was about to say he's got the big like fanglings, and they're just teeth. That's just what a mouth has. The fight against Switchback had against Slammo was a pretty short one. They both sort of met in the middle of it. Switchback managed to get a good few hits and got a big shot on the side of Slammo and sort of did their wheels in and stuff, and ended up getting counted out, that was Switchback's first win out of the sort of main season. And then they went on to fight Huge.
I don't like Huge.
I know you don't.
I don't like the amount of hype around Huge as well. Like, people love Huge. And he just doesn't deserve it.
It's really effective. It's a very...
He's just big.
Yes, most robots aren't.
It's just really big. That's like the BFG just being the B.
just the big.
Just the big. Hi, my name's the Big.
The big what?
The Big.
Oh, okay. But it's really clever. Like even when Huge came in like 2018, no one was armoring that sort of top bit of the robots. There weren't that many good sort of axes and hammers and stuff. So top armor was really weak. It's even now people struggle to fight it. There's ways of doing it, but it's still a very competitive design.
Do you know how little you are convinced?
I know. I am the image of the guy shouting at the brick wall.
It's just big.
The big wins.
No, you're not the image of the guy shouting at a brick wall. What you are is that club photo where the girl's looking off in the distance.
Oh, the guy screaming in her ear.
Yeah.
It's like, why am I here? Switchback put up a sort of good fight against Huge. It did manage to get. It took some big knocks on the weapon arm and stuff. Ended up coming. The sort of arms got done loose. They lost a couple of their weapon butts, but they did get some good hits on Huge's body. But by the end of it, it was looking a bit knackered. The whole drum thing was just hanging out from it, hanging on for sort of dear life. And again, I got another KO loss, which is
another KO loss.
Yeah, because they lost their first one to Gruff, so they went 1 and 2 in the season.
You didn't show me Gruff. You showed me double-headed.
I showed you Gruff.
No, the fight. You didn't show me the fight with Gruff.
That was their fight. Yeah. So Gruff.
Oh, okay.
Gruff's behind there.
Or behind the flames.
Behind the flames, yeah.
How was I meant to know?
As I said, they got flamethrowers. 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, because robots have never set on fire other than when there's flamethrowers involved.
That's very true.
That's never happened. We've never actually witnessed that happen. That happened in Portsmouth.
I know it did, yeah.
You looked at me like you didn't know what I was on about for a sec.
Took a second.
We observed it.
You
looked at me.
So yeah, Switchback being 1 and 2 on the season didn't get into the top 32 bracket at the end of the season, so they entered into the side competition called Battlebots Champions, which was there's been.
But it lost.
Yeah, this was a side one, so it didn't get into the main fight, but it's sort of other robots who wanted to have a go or didn't make it into the bracket.
Why do they call it Champions?
Because give me a second. So there's been 4 champions of BattleBots: Bite Force, Tombstone, Tantrum, and Endgame. Bite Force hasn't competed since season 4. So Tombstone, Tantrum, and Endgame were all entered into a bracket, and then from winners from a previous season's spin-off thing called BattleBots Bounty Hunters, where they put legendary robots up, said, right, come and fight them. Whoever beats them goes through to this thing. So they went through into that, and it eventually made up an 8-robot bracket. The 3 champions and the 5 winners, and Switchback entered into this thing to have a go at beating one of them. Their first fight.
So they were in. Hang on, you've confused
Sorry.
me. Are they in a series called BattleBots Champions?
Yes.
Even though they haven't won yet.
So they started as a normal bracket. So 8 robots started. Switchback was one of them.
But why was the season called Champions?
Sorry. So it's to win through their bracket to get into the champions bracket. So they can fight against the robots who won. Sorry, I didn't explain that very well.
Why don't they just call it Road to Champions?
Yes, whatever. But the sort of undertitle was...
No, it's not whatever. Why didn't they call it Road to Champions?
Because it's... I mean, Champions still works. It's still about robots that have won.
But it didn't win.
It didn't, but the ones that it's trying to get to fight did.
But that makes no sense. That doesn't... As a what's
Concept?
Called? No. As a viewer, I am confused. And you should not confuse your viewers.
I'm trying not to.
You're trying badly.
I know, I'm not very good at explaining things.
Well, now I feel bad because you're self-deprecating.
No. It's common occurrence. So the first fight Switchback had against was a flipper called Lucky.
What makes them lucky?
Because they're Canadian.
What?
I don't know.
The Irish are the lucky ones, not Canadians.
It's always been. It used to be a super heavyweight called Ziggy, and it became Lucky when it started on Battlebots.
Do you think these are just cats that have died by the head developer? Ziggy, that's a cat's name.
It's a very cat name. Yeah.
Lucky, that's a cat's name.
I don't know what they
Are there cats inside these robots?
No, there is
Has
not.
anyone actually checked if there are cats inside these robots? You know, that old Celts thing of putting a cat in your walls. And then
They've just done that with a robot.
They've just done that with a robot. Has anyone checked that this is not true? No? Well, I'm taking it as truth then.
Fair. Well, if they did, it didn't do much good because in the fight, Switchback and Lucky they drive each other.
Oh yes, 2 red and black robots. This is going to be good viewing.
One's orange.
Which one do you think is orange, babe?
The Switchback. Switchback is clearly orange as opposed to Lucky's red.
Go back to the original picture. That is terrible lighting to actually have this discussion in. Have you got any other pictures? Okay, yeah, it's orange.
Yeah, my bad.
So, what we've learnt here is I can't see. And you can't choose images.
Yeah, probably. Which is annoying, as that's the basis of this entire podcast.
That you show me things?
I'm just like, hey, look at this thing that I'll get you a terrible picture of and that you can't see.
So...
It's not an idea founded in success, I'll admit. Yeah, the Switchback Lucky fight wasn't brilliant, so they both drive out. Lucky turns, and Switchback manages to catch their back wheel and just completely rodgers it completely. Lucky was just spinning in circles.
In ecstasy,
and got counted out within like the first 30 seconds or so. So that was an easy fight for Switchback. And they then went on to face Blacksmith. Which looks cool.
It looks like a particular Pokemon.
You're going to have to be a little bit more
I want to
specific.
say Venipede.
I think I can see that.
But I'm not sure if I'm on about the right Pokemon.
Venonat?
No.
No, Venonat's the little bug thing.
Try Venipede.
Venipede?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one I mean.
Colours are a bit different, but I can see it.
What do you mean colours are a bit different?
Well, there's no red on Blacksmith for a start.
Yes, there is. There's on stickers.
Oh, so you can see that bit of red, but you can't see that Switchback
I'm
is
just
fucking
saying
orange.
it does have red on it.
I can see like sort of shape and stuff. I can see the idea for it. Yeah. So Blacksmith looks quite different from how it used to be. So it used to have a giant flaming hammer.
It does have a hammer.
It's got a power hammer now. That's what.
Oh, so different. I've traded this hammer for a hammer.
Well, it's a spinning disc. It's a hammer saw, but they won't call it a hammer saw because we're different for whatever reason.
But it's a hammer.
It's a hammer in some.
If the spinning stops, it is still going to be a hammer. It would
still work like a hammer, yeah. Yeah. So the fight against Blacksmith was. It ended up getting pushed under the pulverizer by Blacksmith and got some good shots against the arms. I think it took some of the chains off that moved it, so it had no chance of self-righting as well. I think when they did get for it, so they tried, but the motors went and ended up just getting pushed around and got stuck under the upper deck. Just took hits from Blacksmith and got KO'd. I think. Yeah, it did get a KO, and then so put the record to 2 wins and 3 losses, and didn't go any further in the champions bracket. I really liked it. It put up a hell of a fight, but it did eventually end up losing it. But mid is that your sort of final desecration for Switchback? Mid's
you can't put the team leader up there whilst I'm talking about how mid it is. That's a bit.
All right, I'll put back the picture that I terrible life.
Thank you. Yeah, mid.
Mid. Okay.
They call it the Midwest.
Because everything about it is mid. So we move on to our second robot, Triple Crown.
Is that a fidget spinner?
No.
It looks like a fidget spinner.
It does look like a big fidget spinner, but it's not a fidget spinner.
Frickin' Todd. Irresistible object, excuse me? Todd, irresistible object.
Well, it's a play on words, you see. Unstoppable force, immovable object. That's their sort of joke. I think that was their team name, even because Todd Mendover, he goes back to sort of original Robot Wars, Robotica runs, even original Battlebots and stuff. And he's won a bunch of championships there as well. So that's where sort of the name Triple Crown comes from. He's got 2 big wins, 2 championship wins, and if he got
so he's making himself as a robot.
Yeah, basically. It might be a bit sort of asking for it, or trying to big yourself up to say, yeah, we're gonna win this. We're gonna call this the Triple Crown. But as a robot, it's really cool. The sort of whole concept for it. It was initially meant to be in season 5, and it did look.
That looks more like a fidget
spinner.
I think you've got a fidget spinner that looks a lot
I
like
say
that.
I've got at least 2 that are the big
circle
ones. Yeah. So it was meant to be in season 5, but he dropped that because he.
This is a much less flattering picture you got up of Todd.
That's what Battlebots put out.
Why is there just the word yes written on the side?
Well, yes is just for it's in. I think they've put sometimes teams who've applied or something like that. But yes is just
out of context. This is brilliant.
Yeah, so it was meant to be in season 5, but Todd he does stuff with NASA as well for their sort of rovers. And he'd taken on a job about
so they can fight the aliens.
Yes, so they can fight the aliens. But yeah, he's
oh no, there's some humidity. Sorry, carry on.
He'd taken on the job with NASA about 3 months before, when it like massively overran. It started being built, but they didn't finish it. The main thing what Todd worked on with it, so he works on the sort of Mars rovers and stuff. It's to do with the sort of drive setup. So this robot uses what's called swerve drive. So all 3 wheels will turn and face the same way at the same time. So it can literally just like strafe, and you can get it in like.
What does strafe mean?
So if you're facing one way but moving side to side.
Like a crab.
Like a crab, yes.
Why don't you just say crab movement?
Sorry, so it's stay facing up to you, but can still move sideways like a crab. It works similar ways to sort of how Mechanism wheels or Omni wheels work, where they can go forward but also go sideways at the same time and can do big sort of sweeping movements.
Like BB-8.
Yeah, actually, yeah, like BB-8. Yeah, it's the B wheel faces one way but can move in another sort.
I've not seen Star Wars, so trying to figure out what his name was like really hard for us.
I've only seen the episode 7. Is
that the one with BB-8?
That's the one with BB-8. That's the only reason I saw it. Genuinely. Yeah, so it was meant to have other weapons and stuff. So you run the wedge sort of setup there. They also have a anti-vertical setup, which is just a big bar designed to take hits. They have the weapon one on the red part, and there was supposed to be part on the blue one as well, but to keep it within weight, they can only run the one weapon for it. So as they were fighting stuff. They weren't even initially going to come into season 6, but the producer, Greg Munson, goes way back with Battlebots. He said, just bring the robot, we'll give you a fight, and we'll see what happens, basically. And unfortunately, they got matched up against Valkyrie, which is a deadly undercutter. It's brutal, that thing. It got most destructive in 2020, I think, in season 5, or one season before that. It's when the thing hits, and it didn't really give it a chance. They sort of came into the centre of the box, and Valkyrie just took out one of the wheels from under it, sent one of the setups for it just sprawling across it, and it was dead. It didn't move at all. I think if it didn't have a horizontal, it would have had half a chance to take some hits and actually get a decent fight, but it wasn't a very good fight at all.
According to Valkyrie, it was a great fight.
Oh, Valkyrie was a brilliant fight.
Well, it just depends who you ask, doesn't it?
Well, amazing, the clip that the Battlebots put up of that fight, I think is one of the most viewed they've ever posted, at like 2 and a bit million views or so, because it's got a really like clickbaity title. It's like, is this the most technologically advanced robot ever? And it's like, oh yes, let's click on that, and it's a fight that's about 30 seconds maybe.
You know what Valkyrie reminds me of? You know those hydro-powered machines that just chomp plastic?
The big like industrial crusher thing. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
there wasn't more to that. That was just
that.
You went back to the picture like, oh yeah, she's gonna say a monologue about it. No, that was just that.
You laugh, but you mentioned that like there's so many people we see on like Reddit and stuff that say, why can't you build a robot that uses one of the big crusher things? But like, do you know
hydraulics?
Yeah, do you know how much it would weigh?
Yeah, it wouldn't move.
Basically. There we are. If even an outsider can see that, then everyone already can shut the fuck up about it.
Well, it's not because I'm an outsider, it's because I know something about science.
which I don't think many people on at least Battlebots Reddit do.
Why don't they just have death lasers?
Why don't they just put a gun on it? They did, Double Jeopardy.
I was going to ask, what's the point of flamethrowers and why not just make a heat gun? Because heat guns are going to be, won't need as much fuel. And it has the same effect.
Because would that be in similar sort of way to like a blowtorch, like a really big blowtorch, basically, or is it different enough to that?
Heat guns are electric.
Because there's been blowtorch robots. There's one from a couple of seasons ago.
Carry on.
So
Look into it.
that was that was Triple Crown's only main event, main season fight. They did again. They also entered into champions to try and beat someone, and they came up against Mad Catter.
Go on.
Do you know
I remember.
Okay, you do remember Mad Catter. I was hoping you did. It somehow looks even more mad than last season. It's brilliant. This was even less of a fight than the Valkyrie one. So they come out, they do the whole thing. They show him bringing the robot in. Amazingly, they call Todd a rookie, which he blatantly is not.
Well, he's a rookie to battle
to the
thing bots. He makes he makes bots that aren't made to die.
He's made Battlebots in the past. He's got a whole line called Panzer that he fought within original Robot Wars and original Battlebots. I think just to reboot Battlebots, he's a rookie. So I guess that's what they're going with. But it was So they bring him out. They do the whole robots activate thing. They do the Twitch test. It moves around fine. It's lovely. 3, 2, 1, go, and it doesn't move at all.
But they just
they did the Twitch test, and in that 10-15 seconds or something, they can't get signal, or there's the connection's gone or something like that, and it's just dead in the water. Mad Cat comes over, gives it one bash against the sideboard, and that's it. In season 6, there's a lot of teams complaining about there's like a lot of sort of static and electric interference from like cameras and stuff. Like one of the other teams, Hijinks, their driver this season, he basically ended up standing the other side of the battle box. Yes, Hijinks.
No, I haven't said anything.
Yeah, sorry, you were looking at me.
I was just looking at you.
Yeah, so he ended up standing basically the other side of the battle box because where the driver's booth is, there was so much interference that basically couldn't drive it. So whether it was something like that or it just crapped out, but it was such a shame because it's such a cool robot.
I think a NASA guy would be good with that though. But he's literally communicating with space.
Yeah, it's such a shame because it's such a cool looking robot, and if it could work and work properly, because the swerve drive stuff is genius. There's been a bunch of other robots that have used that as well. Like it's well built. We didn't get like fully disassembled in its sights or anything. Like the amount of work that went into it was insane. It's so cool. I take it your thoughts are not exactly in agreement.
Sometimes you say that I don't enjoy you being happy. And it's things like this that I'm like, well, you're gushing over it, but it's kind of
I seem to have this affinity for robots like that.
And Pokemon.
You watch your next words very carefully.
I'm just saying, Trubbish.
There's nothing wrong with Trubbish.
Mid-tier.
He's fine.
Mid.
He's not mid.
Mid.
He's S tier.
Mid.
Right. And on that blatant insult, we will move on to our third robot, Blip.
I hate it. Why has it got those eyes?
Because it's cute.
Hang on, why does it look like its creator?
It does a little bit, yeah.
The fact that it's got Johnson & Johnson on the side.
Yeah, that sponsor's really cool. So the way sponsors work on Battlebots and with Discovery, you basically can't have sponsors that are sort of bigger than the show because it's. But the company that initially sponsored them before it Meditech, the one just below it, they got bought by Johnson & Johnson like a week before they turned up or something. So obviously didn't have time to do the stickers and stuff. So they just went with it and managed to get it there. But yeah, you won't get like a Google sponsored robot or something because it's.
I'm saying that because it looks like a baby.
She is a little baby. She is confirmed to be female. She's the She is the actual
Show me that robussy.
No. No.
You said she's confirmed female.
Yeah, she's the younger sister of Tantrum. How could you? So Blip is really cool. So it's a, let's say they call it a launcher. Flipper would also be accurate. It uses a flywheel to launch it.
What do you mean?
So
So are those front two black things only they don't move? They just go under the bar.
Yeah, they just go under it. Yeah.
Okay.
The launcher is really complicated. They've tried to explain it, and I think the way it works is, you know, the old launchers like Beyblades used to use.
Yeah.
Like it's like a pull. But yeah, where you pull the thing and it just flies. I think it's like that. The internals basically use a lot of it's like really big fibers, and they sort of twirl around the flywheel as it's pulled through, and that launches the flipper. It's so quick. It goes from completely shut to completely open in like less than half a second. It's crazy how quick it is.
Is that team name seems reasonable?
Yeah, it seems reasonable.
Okay, because I thought the team name was Team Seems Reasonable.
There seems reasonable. Robotics is their full name.
Okay.
I don't know what that.
It's like when I get my kids into groups and I'm like, oh, come up with a team name, and then one of them puts their team name as team name on top of the sheet. I'm just like, that wasn't what I meant. Yeah. I don't like it.
Do you not like it because it's really cute and personified?
While you're sending it into battle. That's what I don't like about it.
But it's really...
You don't send kids into battle.
So, for Blip's first fight in Season 6, she got Rusty.
I don't like Rusty.
I know you don't like Rusty. She was meant to fight the new version of Rusty that Dave Eaton, the builder, had bought, but...
Dave who?
Dave Eaton was the builder of Rusty. Bought it along, but it wasn't ready in time. There was issues with sponsors.
I don't like that you just name drop the creators like I should know them.
I know, yeah.
Oh, you know, Dave.
No, Dave from down the road.
Dave's robot. I just don't know Dave, actually, surprisingly.
Yeah, they obviously they built a whole new Rusty and they wanted to get it in, but there was issues with...
A whole new Rusty. Sorry, I've been watching Dank Pod today.
So they had to put the original Season 5 on in, and it was not in a bit of a sorry state. It wasn't working.
See, I would have assumed that instead of building a new one, they just keep the old one and bring it up to spec.
Well, the old one took like a lot of damage because from its fights in Season 5, it got the end of it.
Then why would you even keep it then? Surely you would...
With sentimental values.
No, but like because these cost a lot. You salvage what you can from it and then recycle it, surely.
But then surely using it again with new parts and stuff is still recycling it. It's still...
How is that recycling it if you're using new parts?
Well, it's the same shell, but you do like new internal.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you use the shell, you use what you can out of it.
So the Season 5 was only bought as a backup and stuff. It wasn't meant to be the sort of main one for it. It was a bit of a cake for Blip. Like, got a flip on Rusty straight over, sent them over into the short corner by the upper deck, got them caught under the polarizer with one flip, and managed to rip the entire sort of back metal piece off, and it was dead in the water basically. So Blip had its second fight in the main competition against Overhaul.
I've seen that one before. Why have I seen that before? Or have I seen one that's white with a electric blue kind of this thing?
Might have done.
Mainly white, but it's got...
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think we've covered Overhaul before, but there must have been one that was very similar to it.
All these robots look the same. Not to be racist.
Not to be robot phobic.
You're the one that wouldn't show me the robussy.
Can you stop saying that, please?
What,
It's horrible.
robussy?
Jesus.
I'm just saying, if anyone's robophobic, it's the one that won't show you the robussy.
So Overhaul did actually manage to put up a fair bit of a fight against it. It got the first lift, and again, did like Slammer
Why
does.
has that overhaul got eyes?
Because I think the stickers that Blip has for their eyes, they sort of lent to
Oh,
the builder
okay.
and just stuck it on it. They've done the eyes thing in past as well. There was one fight they wore a hard hat as well, which is great.
How did that not fall off like immediately?
I'm surprisingly didn't. I don't know how. Yeah, Overhaul sort of comes out, managed to get the first sort of lift and suplex on the Blip, but Blip managed to self right and just dominated them over, flipped them over onto the upper deck and took a rear wheel off. Overhaul did manage to sort of crawl down, but then Blip comes in, gets him up again, and takes the other rear wheel off, and just wasn't moving. And so Blip got another KO. It was going to 2-0 already.
I've got a side question.
Mm-hmm.
Where do robots go to die?
Scrapyard.
No, like if it's like a BattleBot and they're done with it, they're leaving the robot battling lifestyle.
Going to the pits in the sky.
Where do like people collect old BattleBots?
Yeah, there's been a fair few. A lot of them will buy the robots or they'll sell them up for parts and stuff. A lot of teams will do it sort of season on season for like obviously it's an expensive hobby, so if they can get new parts and stuff. A lot of like really old ones from sort of before the reboot stuff is mainly sort of rusted away and stuff. There's still a few that sort of crop up every now and then. People just like to have them. A lot of the people who build them still keep them, so they do get sold or just distributed again. I know. I actually told you that the robot thing I went to in Wolverhampton, Robo Nerd. I nearly came back with a robot shell.
I wouldn't have liked that.
I know you wouldn't. The third fight that Blip got in the main season was against veteran robot in Lockjaw. Lockjaw's been around for a fair few years now. It started one of the few robots that's competed in all the reboot seasons. It used to have big like clamping.
It's got stupid wheels.
Well, because they can.
Hmm.
I don't quite know why he does the camera. I assume it's for like traction or something, but it's one of the few that does
It's
it.
a big dumb.
Donald Hudson, the builder of that, he's not a big dumb. He's a man that's won.
His name's Donald.
The man has won 6 giant nuts. He's not a dumb.
I hear you, and I understand that there's weight attached to that. But his name's Donald, so he's a big dumb.
Okay. Yeah, it was a much better fight than the other 2 Blip fights. There was a lot more back and forth and whatnot. Lockjaw got some really good hits on the side with the weapon and stuff. Blip did manage to flip Lockjaw a few times, and Lockjaw started smoking, and I think caught fire a little bit as well.
See, that's the problem with smoking.
It's bad for your robot's health.
It ruins their health. And if you're going to go into competitive sports like this, you need your health.
Shit, give up the smoking. I mean, Lockjaw smoked in pretty much every
Got to
single one
do
of his
that
fights.
combustion properly, you know.
Mm. Yeah, it ended up going the full 3 minutes, and judges gave it to Blip, so it went 3-0, which is the inverse of the record that Lockjaw got. It went 0-3 in that season, which is amazingly bad for a sort of veteran build like that. Most times he's usually got at least evens and made the bracket and stuff, but it was the first season it went 0-3.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah, it happened to another legend robot.
Couldn't have happened to a better bot.
Yeah, Donaldson.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, so Blip moved on to get
her teenage years.
Blip moved into the bracket to the top 32 and managed to get a fight against a robot called Jackpot, which I should have got a picture for. It's a gambling sort of Vegas themed robot with green with big hearts for spinners, like the hearts clubs like diamonds and stuff. So it uses 2 big hearts as spinners. It looks really cool.
That's not heart spinners.
Got
spinners.
them confused. The heart ones they trialed, but didn't work as well. So they used the diamond one.
It looks great, except for the green colour is terrible. That looks like the green colour that they started painting McDonald's, that everyone agreed was like the worst colour.
Oh, like the
one that makes that they've also put on cigarettes now, because
yeah.
it's like
It's
the
like a greeny brown
most
sort of thing,
unappetizing colour. That's what that feels like. It's like such an ugly shade of green.
The glitter's really cool though.
I mean, that the glitter makes the green look even worse, though.
Okay.
If you get what I mean. Like, if it was all just like any part that wasn't red was black, that would have looked so much better.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Eh? I'm right. Stop booing me. I'm right.
Yeah. It was another sort of quick fight. Blip managed to get a few flips.
Oh heck.
Yeah. Oh, got the wrong way up. Got them stuck on their flipped jackpot and got their weapon stuck flat on the floor. And I think either a motor went or something, but they didn't have the torque to spin them back up. They do have a proper self-righter, but it's like along the sort of main.
What happened to his little black bits?
What little black bits?
Flips.
Oh, the little what they call the
Yeah.
piano keys. So Jackpot has a really good spinner and did it and sort of took them off because they're only hinged. So as they move, they sort of fly up. If they get caught by it, they would just come off. Because it's better to have something come clean off rather than take chunks off and get stuck in the way where you can't get under anyone like that.
Well, those are the little black things.
Well, along the front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all little wedgelets. So they all sort of line up to make one long wedge rather than having forks and stuff. Because Jackpot is weirdly low. It sits very low to the ground, even in their first version in season 5. They just weren't able to be got under or anything. It was mad. Yeah, so Blip managed to get Jackpot stuck on their weapon and just didn't have the torque to turn it over. So they got counted out and Blip moved on.
But what is torque?
I still can't explain what torque is. One day I will be able to. I've heard what James May says, but yeah, I don't understand.
It's the force applied to make the moment.
So in the next round of the bracket, Blip faced Valkyrie, and it was
died.
No, it didn't.
Oh.
Well, Valkyrie's weapon did in the first sort of 10 seconds. Blip got a great flip on them to start. Valkyrie landed, and their weapon was dead from the start. And then Blip managed to
Did they have CO2 issues?
No, but they don't run on CO2.
What do they run on?
Well, Valkyrie runs on electrics, and Blip runs on.
Did they have battery issues?
No, I think their motors went so. They had electrics issue, but not batteries issues.
Well, that's the full extent of my knowledge.
Blip did a great show. They managed to get 18 flips on Valkyrie throughout the whole fight. Just
take a shot every flip.
Yeah, literally just non-stop, and managed to get them stuck arse over face, propped up against the side, and couldn't move.
It hasn't got an arse or a face.
You know what I mean.
Again,
upside down. Then.
Again, this is like dead in the water again. I know what you mean. It's just dumb.
But why that? Why that?
It's like it makes no sense what you just said.
So Blip moved on to face Hydra.
That's disgusting.
Is it?
That looks like Mad Catter.
It's a lot like Mad Catter and sort of creepy Alice in Wonderland, big cat type shit. It's really cool. Hydra also runs on hydraulics. It uses a
Undergun.
Udder gun.
They've sponsored by milk.
No,
what?
Their Undergun is a company. I can't remember it is the actual suction device to milk cows, or I think it's like a handheld version of that, or so it's not a full clip on get all the cows. You can just go and get them.
Do that sound effect again, please. That's how you think farmers be.
If they're going around all their cows really quickly, that's what they sound like. Yeah.
That's for all farmers out there. That's what Matt thinks farmers be doing
to their cows.
Well, I'd hope it was to their cows. Who else is it going to be?
If it's to their bulls, they've got bigger problems.
Most farmers just hire a bull.
Makes sense.
I learnt that about sheep. They hire the sheep. There's not more to that.
I didn't know that either. So.
I learnt it.
Well done, you.
You learned
it. learned.
No, I learned it from a farmer on TikTok.
Okay. So the fight against Hydra was didn't go Blip's way at all. Hydra got first flip on them. Blip ended up upside down, and every time they were trying to stealth right, they're using so much power. They're just somersaulting times over, and then they're back on their face and expending time and batteries and stuff. It has a face
this time,
and it ends up just flipping over and over again. Hydra came in, got another big flip, got them onto the upper deck, and they were trying to get off. But from all the flips and stuff, they sort of their frame got a bit balked. You can see their wheel sort of tweaked.
How'd they get up there?
Hydra flipped them.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So they managed to sort of crawl their way over because they use like magnets and stuff for downforce as well. They got stuck on one side with that, and where the frame was sort of bent a little bit, they got just stuck and couldn't, like, even flipping themselves, couldn't get themselves off room, so they got counted out there. It was a really, really good display by Hydra from a robot that almost didn't make the bracket to do a really good sort of flip and stuff like that.
Don't worry, you cannot make the bracket and be called a champion. So
I'm bad at explaining things. We know this. I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. It's their fault.
Mm.
They called it champions when they shouldn't have called it champions. Road to champions.
Road to champions, I guess.
Path to champions. Battle to champions.
Something like that, yeah.
But no.
Just champions.
Just wrong.
So that was Blip's last appearance in the main competition. Battlebots also held an event as part of a thing called Remars to Amazon. It's a STEM sort of event showcase thing, and they put on a bunch of fights, like they do like a mini bracket. Blip was in that. So it first one it faced was a robot called Whiplash, which is a really cool lifter spinner sort of thing. They don't usually.
Could have fooled me. I thought it was called Magit.
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 It's one of their sponsors, I think.
Yeah, but it's on there 4 times.
Yeah, they don't really have. I don't know why they don't have Whiplash on it. I annoyingly, the fights from Remars haven't been released publicly because it was part of the sort of event and stuff. But Whiplash didn't do brilliantly. I think Blip ended up putting them face down, and their lifter sort of went as well.
Because they had an identity crisis.
And then they went on to face Hypershock.
What is it with fluorescent yellow?
It's two very, very similar sort of paint jobs.
It's like me in Year 8 DT. They only had yellow available.
They
only had yellow, red, or electric blue.
This is the big yellow acrylic emoji thing.
It's none of the designs they wanted, but you know, they fit the colours.
Yeah, as again, I don't know. I haven't seen the fight how it goes.
It's
but
like a dune bug.
Yeah, I can see that. It's designed to look like a RC car, like the builder and the team that said it's meant to look like the best RC car you could ever get. And to be fair, this is the most RC car version of it. It's super quick in the box and stuff, and it hits like a train. It's crazy. Yeah. The fight. I don't know the full description, but according to the wiki and stuff, Blip took a big hit from Hypershock Spinner and just ended up. I think either the flipper mechanism or some of the motor or something went and they couldn't stealth right properly, so they got counted out. Hypershock won the whole thing in the end. Spoilers. But
oh yeah, because I was gonna watch.
I
was really looking forward to that. I had it lined up right after my Sims 4 game through. I'm gonna watch Hypershock.
So, final thoughts on Blip then, aside from the cuteness and stuff. Is it another mid one?
It's not mid. I would say if I liked robots, I would like it. And if I didn't like children, I would like it. But considering this is a robot that is designed to look childlike, yeah?
Well,
you said it was the younger sister, so it's like childlike. And its main way that it has been tackled successfully is pushing it upside down. Now, as a teacher, I do not believe we should be putting children upside down.
That's probably a good idea.
So I'm taking a moral stance here that this is something that we should not be supporting. And Aaron Hill, I will not say anything about because he too looks childlike. I'm sure if he grows a beard, he looks his age, but he's got quite a baby face, hasn't he? Is he 17 or 27? No one knows.
I think he's only a little bit older than me, but
how can you tell?
With a man so young face.
So baby face.
Right.
Watch him be like an actual child. And he said that.
He's definitely older than you. I know that much.
How do you know?
How
do you know?
How would they know?
How would they know?
Right, that ends this brand new episode of My Girlfriend Doesn't Like Robots. Thank you everyone for listening. Social media links and stuff will be in the description below. We've no idea when the next episode
my shoulder.
That sounded good.
It felt good. It felt good.
No idea when the next episode will be, but we shall see you in the next one.